GameJolt's Bear Week is an annual event celebrating the GameJolt community. But what do we do on Bear Week, and why? This is best explained by telling you the tale of the first Bear Week's Eve. 'Twas the morn of August the 11th, 2015. It was common for people to change their usernames as a joke, and this led to many shenanigans and tales for another day perhaps. But one day, one faithful day, a revolutionary was sick and tired of these letters and names. This revolutionary changed his username. He changed it to pharyngeal fricative, bullet, Latin letter on, bullet, glottal stop. What was this madness? It wasn't a name. It was a bear. Now, back in the day, you couldn't see people's avatars in the chat, and you couldn't see both their usernames and nickname at the same time. No, your sole way to identify someone was by their display name, and we just called him Bear. At first, it was just a joke. Many chuckles were had, but by the end of the day, something happened. The bear multiplied. There were two now. There were more than one. That made it trend, and a Mexican wave of bear faces ensued. Every day more and more bears. When would it end? The whole chat was nothing but bears. No one knew who was who. They only knew people by their bear faces. Star-eyed bear, table flip bear, sword bear, shrug bear. There were so many possible combinations. And this gave Ma, a freaking user of the chat, an idea to create a bear-face generator. We'll come back to that in a second, but first, why was it called Bear Week? Well, the answer is simple. There is a 7-day cooldown from when you change your name to when you can change it again. Basically, anyone that became a bear was stuck that way for a whole week. Now, back to the face generator. The fact that Bear Week was only going on for 7 days gave Ma a deadline, but Ma actually finished the generator by day 2. So instead, it would be turned into a Bear Week MMO with the remaining time. A multiplayer experience where people connect to other players and communicate solely through bear emoticons. It also had a countdown of how many days until the next Bear Week. Unfortunately, that and the online aspect to the faces did not work consistently, but it's the thought that counts. And to most people, it counted as a very creepy game. Another vital element of Bear Week is the puns. There are only so many bear-related puns, and you can be sure that during that 7-day period, we used every last one of them. It was unbearable. So in the days leading up to Bear Week's Eve, I suggest you ready yourself with a sufficient armory of bear puns to last you the week. Before we move on, let's talk about the bear's mortal enemy. Yes, it is, of course, the whale. Bears and whales have been fighting since time began. You see, an important moderator and community figure was Thomas Bowen, or Bowen Bear. Back then, and still to this day, he would announce his entrance to the chat with 0, underscore, 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 0. We called this a whale. He had many variations of the whales, and even gave them names and backstories. It was a lot of fun to be had, indeed. And that is why, in the present day, the chatbot created by Bowen is called Mr. Whale. So that's where whales come from. Now let's examine how they collide with bears. Like I said before, the only way to identify a user was by their name display. So when we became indistinguishable as a sea of bear faces, the mods were very displeased. And we were unsure if Bear Week would last the full 7 days before getting shut down by whales. Through diplomacy, negotiation, and good spirit, the bears brokered a deal with the whales and made it to the end of the week with a few casualties. Today, that isn't a problem, as we have avatars, 2 visible usernames, and the mods have updated tools at their disposal so that they can see a user's history at a mere glance. That is the first Bear Week sufficiently covered. On to year 2. This time, a lot of people jumped the gun, changing their names without quite understanding the point of the event. resulting in a bunch of people combining their names with the word bear. So we ended up with users like Jerry Bear, Andrew Bear, Ninja Cool Guy Bear. Fortunately, in the spirit of Bear Week, the whales bypassed the name's cooldown to guide these bears to the correct path, into the berry goodness of emoticons. This year was Terry the Platypus, another community figure and frequent user of the chat that created that year's bear game, The Hunter's Dance, a resourceful management game and dance simulator. Also, Ma, from before, created a holiday special of their cartoon series. A cartoon series that was very much an inside joke in the GameJolt community, and a whole other can of worms. All you really need to know is that it was mostly voiced by GameJolt moderators and a few prominent community members. Instead of a script, each voice actor was given a list of randomly generated words. And just like the game Ma had made last year, many people considered this to be very creepy. Also, Terry wrote a Bear Week song on Ma's request for the holiday special. Terry was not the only one to attempt to make a Bear Week game, but he was the only one to finish it before the week had ended. We had thought that that was it for this week's Bear Week. Everyone sat down to watch their holiday special. They had a brand new bear game to play, and revisited the Bear MMO, and made many bear puns. We all sang the Bear Week jingle, Bear Week is coming, and waited for the week to end. But then, a Bear Week miracle. All of a sudden, lots of people came to the chat asking, "What's up with all the bears?" Everyone chuckled and said, "Why, it's Bear Week, of course. We all changed our names to bear emoticons." Then they replied, "No, not the names, the avatars." We took a closer look. Well, that's curious. Curious indeed. It seemed every user, every last user on the site, had the same avatar. It looked like a bear. Everyone was bears, literally everyone. But not in the chat, because programming stuff. But still, for the rest of the site, everyone's avatars were bypassed and replaced with a picture of a bear. Nobody knows why it happened, or where the bear came from. It was a Bear Week miracle. That leaves us with year 3, this year. What's going to happen this year? Well, this year those plucky folks on the GameJolt community made a Bear Week documentary to tell the tale of Bear Weeks gone by. I can't wait to see it. But there's more. On the week itself, we will be holding a Bear Week pageant. In the description, we'll provide a link to a form where you can apply to enter. The pageant will be judging the quality of people's bear faces. But not just that. That would be shallow. We're also judging the caliber of people's bear on the inside, asking questions like, how would you deal with bear-whale relations? What is your favorite bear pun? What is the essence of being a bear? What is your special skill? Then, after the Bear Week pageant show, a winner will be announced and then crowned Bear of the Week 2017. And for the Bear Week game of this year, we can't really say what will happen, but I can tell you that we're going to have some good ones. Merry Bear Week, everyone.